Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with this Nigerian newspaper. The major story here says 2.3 trillion naira crude oil stolen in 2023, Senate alleges, and asks committees to beam searchlight on military security agencies. All right, you find the details of the story on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. Some other stories here. One chance, no place for criminals in FCT, says Wike, as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, is speaking there. Says no place for criminals in the Federal Capital Territory. And some other stories. National Assembly, insecurity may lead to acute food crisis. The National Assembly is saying insecurity may lead to acute food crisis. Recall that some farmers say they have been unable to go to their farmlands as a result of this matter of insecurity. And then another story here, Silva to appeal disqualification from Bayelsa November the 11th Guba poll. Silva to appeal disqualification from Bayelsa November the 11th gubernatorial poll. Naira free fall on ending exchanges at 1,005 kobo to Naira to a dollar at black market. And then at the downstrip here, Bat Roads, federal government gives contractors 14-day ultimatum. Tinubu backs Umahi on use of concrete roads, plans to drag contractors that abandon projects to ICPC. All of the details on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper. We'll move now to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. The major story, crude oil theft, Senate to probe security forces, militia groups. Crude oil theft, Senate to probe security forces, militia groups. And we see a picture here where former President Goodluck Jonathan, who led the delegation of West African Elders Forum mediation mission to Monrovia for the election, is visiting or was visiting polling stations as Liberians went to vote in the country's general election Tuesday yesterday. And some other stories at the top corner here. Army court sends Major General Mohammed to 7 years in prison. Others refund of $2.1 million and 1.65 billion naira. Ayedatiwa appeals as Ondo Court strikes out case to halt his impeachment. That's the Deputy Governor of Ondo State who has been having a legal battle with regards to he being impeached. And then another story here, 5.4 million electorates who vote in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa states. INEC is saying that. And then another story, IMF commends bold reforms in Nigeria. Two other stories, Nigerian employers pay over 60 different taxes annually. NECA is speaking. And then NECO releases 2023 SSE results, withholds over 12,000 results to sanction 93 schools for mass cheating. All right. We move now to the front page of the Blueprint. The major story, Senate probes 2.3 trillion naira lost to oil theft in 2023. Fingers security forces, militia groups, host communities, others, alleges use of sophisticated methods by bunkers, collaborators, raises the alarm over food security. And the story here at the downstrip says APC Silva fight back as court stops Guba candidate from Bayelsa poll. Ex-minister remains our candidate, says party. 5.4 million to vote in Bayelsa Imo Kogi polls. INEC is saying this. We move now to the front page of the Leadership newspaper, and the major story here, amid scarcity, liter of petrol sells for 700 naira, 650 naira in Sakwato, Gombe, others. And the writer here says marketers blame high cost of diesel for increase. Queues resurface in Abuja as confusion trails return of subsidy. Nigeria imports 23 billion liters of petrol in 1 year. All right, another story here quickly. 50% of teachers in northern Nigeria not disqualified. And Bayelsa governorship, Silva files appeal against disqualification. All of the stories you find on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. To the First News newspaper now. November 11 polls, 5.4 million voters to elect next Imo Bayelsa Kogi governors. INEC is speaking. Declares Bayelsa has over 1,556,862 registered voters. And it just breaks it down to that of Imo and Kogi as well. And it says 16 political parties sponsoring candidates in Bayelsa, 17 in Imo, 18 in Kogi. All right, all of the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. And to the Nigerian News Direct, forgery allegation, Atiku Abubakar clarifies confusion in academic credentials amidst controversy, admits using Sadiq Abubakar as proxy for WAEC exams. Interesting. All right. And quickly, another story here. It says more, all right, Sanwo-Olu approves 500% car loan for workers, swears in Agoro as HOS. All right. All the details of the story is on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Ibrahim.
Right. The Guardian newspaper is the first with me here, and I have the headline: Federal government's bid for concrete roads to spike CapEx amid 10 trillion naira owed contractors. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Theft, vandalism undermine gas production as train 7 years completion. Theft, vandalism undermine gas production as train 7 nears completion. U.S. declares Bazoum's ousting a coup, suspends military aid training to Niger. U.S. declares Bazoum's ousting a coup, suspends military aid training to Niger. That's coming a bit too late when all the other countries, West African countries, were saying that it's a problem that happened in Niger is a coup. U.S. sent its ambassador. Now they are waking up to say it's a coup. Over 30,000 Nigerians on death row amid calls to abolish capital punishment. Israel-Palestinian envoys defend positions as NCPC suspends Christian pilgrimage. Court remands siblings for clubbing uncle to death. That's very sad. Moving on to other stories, to other page of the newspaper, which is the Daily Independent newspaper. The front page reads, Minister, contractors on collision cause over concrete road. And the writer reads, federal government gives contractors strict conditions to use asphalt. IMF lowers Nigeria's economic growth to 2.9%. Atiku explains why WAEC certificate bears Sadiq Abubakar. Quite interesting there. 737,308 score 5 credits in maths, English as NECO releases results. That's on the front page of the newspaper. And above the nameplate, Bayelsa Gobapol, APC says judgment disqualifying Silva, unjust, undemocratic. Silva heads to appeal court, files stay of execution. Nigeria's visa on arrival policy to be on reciprocity. That's the Minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo talking there. The Nation newspaper is next. And the scribbling headline here is IMF, growth coming with Tinubu's economic policies. Investors rating agencies positive. ICANN exchange rate reforms. ICANN says exchange rate reforms, subsidy removal in order. That's the Nation newspaper. Next is Business Day newspaper. Flush with cash. Banks boost lending. That's the big story on the front page of the Business Day newspaper. And you also see 5 reasons petrol is scarce and fuel stations closing. That's on the front page of the Business Day. Daily Trust is second to the last. And the scribbling headline here reads, IMF asks CBN to continue raising interest rates. And you also find gunmen abduct 4 Nasarawa Varsity female students. That's you read more on the front page of the Daily Trust. And last but not least, because of time, the Punch newspaper is the last. Forex crisis is a kicker, and the headline reads, Naira plunges to 1,025 to the dollar. Job losses, factory shutdown loom. Forex crisis hinders raw materials procurement causes financial problem. That's NECA. And on the bottom strip, you'll see 18 parties jostle for 5.4 million votes in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa. And NECO indicts 93 schools for cheating, blacklists 52 supervisors. That's about it on the pages, on the front pages of the newspapers this morning.
Quite an interesting development with regards to the aspect of NECO. Blacklisting some supervisors because of malpractices and all of that. We still have a lot of work to do with regards to our education, and the fact that we have 5.4 million electorate to vote in the off-cycle elections come November. We hope that this number will turn out at the end of the day for this election.
That's right. Before you go, very quickly, I think I missed something. Army discovers bombs in Ikeja 21 years after blast begins clearance.
Yes.
You remember what happened in January 28th, 2002. We pray that we don't have that experience again.
In fact, that event was yesterday.
Yes, absolutely.
And our senior correspondent, Ivy Kanu, was there. We took that story earlier.